What up, everyone? We got Marvel Collector Corps here, and we got the Civil War box. A box I'm very excited about because I'm a huge fan of the Civil War series. Always have been, since it first came out. And I'm also very excited for the movie, which the premiere will be this Thursday, which you can look forward to a review on, which I'll be doing that night, so that should be fun. But other than that, I'm excited to see what we got in this box, and I've been pretty good about avoiding spoilers from it, so let's take a look at what we got. And I'm assuming we have our classic patch and pin right on top. I can open it. Here we go. Alrighty. And we do. Patch and pin. So let's get close. Get out of here, pup. It's not for you. So let's take a look at that. Let's get close up on these. Focusing. Yep. So we got Black Panther on the pin, and the patch is, drawing a blank on the name. He's a new character in the movie. He was in Winter Soldier, and he's the villain in the Civil War movie, and I'm totally drawing a blank on his name. I know it, and I'm going to think of it later, and someone's going to correct me in the comments. I know the name. It'll come to me. Anyway, Crossbones. Yeah, so that's the character. That's his emblem on there, Crossbones and Black Panther. Alrighty, cool. Got some characters from the new movie. And we got some really cool box art here, which we always do. So that's cool. I like that they decorate the box. So let's see. Oh, look at this. So we actually got a little info card, which we've never gotten before, which I've been saying that they've needed this entire time. That's really cool. I'm really happy they started doing it. That is awesome. That makes me happy. Alright. Next, we got a shirt. Hold on, I gotta take it out of the packaging so I can get a good look at it. Smelling new shirts. Always nice. So, looks like we got the classic pop style of t-shirt from Funko, and it's just the Civil War characters. We've got Iron Man on one side, Cap on the other, and it looks like the characters that are from the movie. Now, I'm sure most of you know that the characters from the movie and the characters from the comic are very different, because the Civil War had a lot to do, Spider-Man, now that they have the rights back to it, also the X-Men and the Fantastic Four, franchises which Marvel does not have the movie rights to, so they had to make do with the characters they had, blah blah blah. But anyway, these are the characters from the movie. And it's always a branded shirt, looks pretty nice in quality, and the fit on these are pretty decent, like not perfect or anything, but pretty good in quality, and I think that's really cool, and that'll be cool to wear to the movie. I think I already have a shirt picked out to wear, but I might wear this one. That might be cool. But yeah, I'll give that like an 8 to 8.5 out of 10, something like that, because it looks like really cool and good design. Alrighty, that'll do. Then, looks like we got just a little lanyard here that just has Cap and Iron Man on there. Nothing really special about it, just says Civil War. Nice little lanyard, you know, whatever. Then we got a comic book, Black Panther #1. And again, it looks like we have the pop style represented on the comic. So it looks like they're going pop heavy with this. But it looks kind of cool. I like that cover. Very nice. These are usually never worth anything. It's just cool to get that comic book. And I like that they're sealed, even though mine is torn open. Whatever. Alrighty. Then we got a Dorbz figure. And it looks like we got Unmasked Iron Man from the Civil War series. So, I really like that. I've said it a million times. I'm a big fan of the Dorbz figures. I really like them. I think they're cool. Not everyone is a fan of them, and they very rarely ever hold very high value, at least at this point, but I still appreciate them and still like them. And I also really like Iron Man. If I had my choice between Iron Man and Captain America, I'm choosing Iron Man. So everyone has their picks. I personally like Iron Man and his movies, so I'm happy to see this. And I really like the unmasked version, so that's cool. And it's not really unmasked, his helmet's just back, but you know what I mean. Alrighty. And the last item. Looks like we got a combo pack of pop figures. So this is cool. And obviously Captain America and Iron Man. Who else? So Iron Man's in this nice jumping pose, and then Captain America on a ground pose. So that's cool. I like that they're doing figures in different stances now. Because for the longest time, pop figures were just very generic. They had just like a straight body stance, and there was no gesturing whatsoever. It was like that for years. Not until just recently have they started to change the body shapes and change the poses that they're in, which I think is really good, because I used to hate pop figures because they all looked exactly the same, but now that they're actually changing it up, they actually look pretty cool. And the Deadpool one, the same thing. He was in like a jumping position, so I really like that, and that's cool. So that looks like all the items in there. Yeah, and I'm jumping all over my words. Anyway, they have a description card in here, so this will actually help me out to give this a better rating. And they actually have some variants here, which it talks about on here. But I'm really happy they started doing this. I've been saying they've needed this from the very beginning because it's just good to know. It's also good to know that there are variants out there because maybe you want that. You wouldn't know otherwise unless you watch a review, but if you're just getting this box, you don't know about that kind of stuff. So I'm really happy that they put this in there, so that's good to know. So, we'll take a short break, I'll do some research, we'll come back, talk about some value, and maybe some of the variants, and give this box a rating. See you soon. Alright, we are back with this box. Let's talk about some value and give it a rating. First, the shirt. Like I was saying, 8.5 out of 10. I think most people would enjoy it. Came in time for the movie, so you can wear it to the premiere, which is really cool, because it's always fun to wear a nice shirt to that. So that works out. But it'll get the standard $12 to $15 value, as all shirts do. So there was no variance in this box. I read the card. This is mostly informational stuff, which is still cool. Sometimes they have t-shirt variants, sometimes they have pop variants. There weren't any in this box, which is fine. There doesn't always have to be. But it just talks about like the process of making a lot of them and how the deadlines are really short. You know, nothing special, but it's cool stuff to know, and it's just cool to have it all laid out on there and just have little descriptions. So I thought that's cool. I still like having the information card nonetheless, whether it says anything or not. I think it's still helpful. Next, we got the patch and pin combo, and also the lanyard. I'm just going to group these all in together because separately they really don't hold much value, especially the lanyard, so I just kind of group them all in together because that's pretty much how they're always sold anyway as a group. And as a group, it's going to be about 8 to 10. No real surprise there. Patch and pin usually runs like 7 to 9, and with the lanyard adds like an extra buck in there. No surprise, that's pretty average for the patch and pin from Marvel, so there's that. Then, our comic. This is running about 4 to 6. No surprise there. Pretty standard comic price. Comics usually run like $4 or $5. This runs like 4 to 6, and that's pretty common. I haven't seen a collector core comic really go for like any high resale value like at all. It's pretty much standard comic price, which is fine. It still comes bagged and boarded. It's still a cool variant issue, so I like the cover. But that's pretty much what to be expected from the company. Then, the Dorbs, 8 to 10. Again, pretty standard as far as just any Dorbs go, but even from these boxes, even though they're exclusive, and even though I think they're really cool and collectible, still only gets about 8 to 10, so no surprise there, but I still really like it. I think it's a really cool figure, and the box looks nice and all that stuff, so I thought it was a good choice. I enjoy it. Then our pop figures. Now, this is usually where most of the value comes from the boxes from the pop figures, because that's what's most popular, that's what's most collectible, that's what Funko is kind of known for, so this is what everyone seeks out. If you didn't get the box and you're going to purchase something, this is probably what you're looking for. The value on this, not super high actually, right around $35. 35, maybe 40 on the high end, but 35, 37, maybe 40, right around that. Which isn't too crazy considering it's a combo pack. Pops individually cost 10. When they're in a combo pack, they usually cost more than just what they would cost separately because it's a special box and things like that. And it's exclusive and it's a little bit rare. I probably wouldn't say rare, but 35 bucks is probably what I would go for. I could imagine over time the price will come down. I imagine the final price, like where it settles out, would probably be 30 if I had to guess, which I think is reasonable. I think that's a reasonable amount to ask for that. But right now, it's at that $35 to $40 range. But again, I really like these. I think they did a good job. The paint job on them isn't stellar, but that's how pop figures always are. But they look like they'd be cool to set up, and I like the poses they're in. I think that's really awesome. So, I'm a fan of that, and I like it. So, that was all the items in the box. On the low end, we got a $67 value. On the high end, an $81 value. So even on the low end, you got pretty close to double. I think after taxes and shipping and everything, the box comes to, I think, 33, if I'm not mistaken. Something like that, 33, 34. So at the low end, you're just barely hitting the double mark, which is good. And on the high end, you're getting a little bit more than that. So I gotta say, nothing in here was like mind-blowingly amazing, but I thought everything was good. It's a perfect representation of the Civil War series. It looks like they touched on most of the characters. They probably could have mixed it up. they were saying in here the concept art for the pop figures was supposed to be Falcon and Captain America, which I wouldn't say is a better or worse choice, except for the fact that we got two different Iron Men in here. So if they'd done Falcon and Captain America, then we would have had more character variety, because that's pretty much the one character I was noticing is not present in here, was Falcon. He may be on the shirt, but let's see if he's on the shirt. Yeah, he's on the shirt, so yeah, he's kind of in there, but that's like the one main character which I think people would want to see that they didn't see in here, because I don't think too many people would care about seeing like Black Widow. Maybe Ant-Man like would have been cool too to have a little figure from him, but he recently had his own box. So, but anyway, I'm just nitpicking about that. So there could have been a little more character variety, but other than that, we got a good representation. Something you'll notice here, and that I noticed that something that's very obviously missing from this box is Spider-Man. And something you'll also notice if you go to Target, Toys R Us, anything like that, they're promoting Civil War a lot, and you'll look at all the toys. Same thing, they'll have an action figure for everyone except Spider-Man, which is kind of sucks because he's like the main character in this movie. He plays a very important role, and everyone's excited to have Spider-Man back. But the problem is, and the reason why he's not in here, is because Marvel still doesn't own the rights to Spider-Man. They made a partnership with Sony to put Spider-Man back in the Civil War movie, but they still don't own the rights back to them. So therefore, they cannot distribute toys and t-shirts and things like that where Spider-Man is part of the Civil War. They cannot do that. So they still have separate Spider-Man toys they make, but as far as the Civil War is concerned, they cannot do t-shirts, they cannot do any of that stuff unless they get direct consent from Sony to do so, which is really unfortunate because one of the main characters, that one I was most excited about, is just absent in all this stuff. It's not their fault, so I'm not going to ding them on a score for that. It's just something to know, and I'm kind of bummed about because I would have loved to see the new Spider-Man stuff in here. If he was a pop figure or something like that, I would have been super excited. But maybe we'll see him in the near future if Sony isn't such a boner about it, and maybe they'll eventually sell their characters back, which we all hope for, because it would be awesome to get an actual Avengers movie with Spider-Man and Wolverine and all that shit, but, you know, I'm just dreaming big. Anyway, like I was saying, great value on this. You got double your value on the low end, and I was saying nothing here blew my mind amazing, but everything in here was really good. It was very enjoyable. I can say I liked everything in here, with the exception of maybe like the lanyard. Like, I don't give a shit about this thing, but other than that, everything in here was very nice and very enjoyable. The resale value on most of these, really not high. Not a high resale value on anything, but that's okay. I'm not in it to make money, and I don't think most people are either. I'm here to enjoy the stuff, and I did. So all that being said, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I think anyone that is a fan of the Civil War and anyone that's excited about the movie or Funko would absolutely love this box. I think they'd get a kick out of it. I think they'd enjoy it. And worst case scenario, if you didn't like one item or one character, it wouldn't be too hard to flip it, resell it, and get some money back. So overall, good box. I'm always happy to see it. And the next month's theme in 2 months is Women of Power, which that could go either way. It's got Spider-Gwen on the front. I know I like Spider-Gwen. Spider-Gwen's pretty dope. I like her. But I'm assuming we'll see something Miss Marvel because they're promoting her. She's going to have a movie. But they could pick some really lame female characters. So we'll see which ones they pick and we'll see how it goes. And yeah, there's not much more to say about it. Anyway, I'm happy we got a Civil War one. That's super awesome. Super excited for the movie. So this has been the Marvel Collector Core. 8 out of 10 in the box. 8.5 on the shirt. Let me know what you guys thought about it. And I'll see you on the premiere. Thank you for watching. Love you all. Peace.